Every office building, school, and home has something in common. They have all used the services of an architect at some stage in their development. In this segment, we learn what it takes to become an architect and look into some of the typical job duties.
So you want to be an architect when you grow up, huh?
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm thinking about.
Many of our clients and many of the general public aren't quite sure yet what architects do. So even at my stage in my career, I'm still doing a certain amount of educating of our clients and the need for architecture and architects to help design a building. Because the hospital you were born in, the home you live in, the schools that you've been through so far, when you go to the stadium, when you go to the museum, when you go to the restaurant, they're all designed by architects. They all are designed by someone who had to think of how this stuff goes together.
We have a whole team of players when it comes to putting together a building or any other planning project. You have an architect, you have consultants that come in and out of the building, which could be site and civil, mechanical and electrical engineers, they could be acoustic engineers. That's where you rely on your project team. Client, the architect, the project manager have to make decisions, facilitate things, and keep the project moving forward.
Now, do you follow the project from, like the preliminary drawings on, this stuff here, all the way to the finished product?
We simply spend our time on just the building design and putting all the construction documents together so that we can take this and give it to a contractor for him to price and then get his building permits and then do the construction work.
The architects who've been around since before the computer, who can't really use the computer, they do a lot more sketching and there's a lot of value in that. But if you're able to use the computer, sometimes if you already know what you want to do, there's no reason to sketch it. You might as well put it right on CAD and then you can go from there.
We don't design today the way I used to when I was active on the drawing board even 10 years ago. The days of drawing a big rendering by hand are almost gone. As you'll see, we have software packages that can even take your building and can tilt it. And you can pick the time of day, the time of year to get a certain sun feature. It's pretty neat stuff.
Certain clients have certain cash flow money, so it's either we're going to do hand modeling or computer modeling. And some people it's easier to see in their face instead of on the screen. Like for here, this is the Pomeroy. It's the Cairn Foundation building. Here again, we had to go up and field measure the entire building. And with our program, we can turn it into a 3D model right away.
How long does it take to develop that?
Develop the model?
Yeah.
The programs that we have today, we draw a wall, it automatically draws it into 3D.
Simple?
Yeah, it's automatic. And as soon as you get the hang of that and you stack it up, it's the hardest thing to do on a project like this is the roofs.
So when they come to you, do they have a design in mind, or?
Some do, some don't. This particular building, they didn't. We're just putting the pieces together. This is a wastewater treatment plant, which means it has two basic functions. One of them is they're going to have a chemical laboratory for the testing. My job is to put these things together in some sort of logical order. On the laboratory side, for instance, I know I'm going to need toilets with showers in it because whatever's in here could be dangerous and they would need to shower quickly. I'm expected to have an understanding of that. I can't have the toilet rooms way over here in the back, even though I may want to do that because it makes my plan look nicer. It doesn't function right.
One of the things I was really amazed about when, we do get some graduate students that come in here, and I was surprised to find out that in their college course, they don't do anything with respect to code, and everybody has these grand ideas and they go into school and they're designing crazy buildings and things like that, and then they show us their projects when they come in. What do you think of this building? I said, it's a great looking building, but how do you get out of it? You have 7 million square feet of space and 2 doors. How do you do that, you know? How do you get 50,000 people out of a building with 2 doors?
2 years ago, when I was in summer school for my continuing education, I spent a whole week in sustainable design and green architecture classes. We throw things away in the wastebasket, we send things out in the garbage, it goes somewhere. Energy will never get any cheaper. It'll always continue to go up in price. So what we have done here in our firm is, for the past 2 years, we have focused on energy conservation and good building design. We've started to employ things like recycled materials, reusing rainwater or redistributing rainwater in green roofs. We're trying to convince our clients that you need to become more energy efficient and more conscious of the energy you use. For instance, we like to employ daylighting, where we bring natural light into the building, because the more natural light we can use, the less energy to light the lighting fixtures in the building. Also, using passive solar energy, having large overhangs on buildings so that in the wintertime we capture the light of the sun because it's low in the sky, and then in just the reverse in the summer when it's higher. So it's those kinds of subtleties that we're employing in our architectural design. The use of natural materials is just so important. And the more local, the better, because there's less energy used to the transport. Exactly.
If there's anything you could tell a student looking to be an architect now, what would it be?
One of the most important things you could do, prior to getting your formal education in architecture, is learning how to communicate with people, and that's on all levels. Customers, you might meet someone tomorrow and you have no other association with that person, but 10 years down the road from now, you're going to run into that person again. And you want to develop and keep those relationships. They're important at all levels. So I would encourage that.
Algebra is probably the thing that you use all the time, because algebra is a way of helping you use things that you're designing it, and here's something that I know to be true. I want that. Now, how do I figure out what's going on over here? And algebra can help you do that.
Pretty much there's a lot of different jobs, so somebody that would be interested, if they had certain strengths, they could be involved in different parts of the process.
Absolutely. An architectural degree qualifies you to do a lot of different things within the construction industry. My degree is a Bachelor of Architecture, which is what I needed in order to get my license. So I'm allowed to stamp and seal drawings and that sort of thing. I could also teach school. I could also sell product lines, rep a series of materials or products. That's within my purview. I could become involved in the construction industry. I could become a project manager. I could job superintendent, because I know how all these things go together. Right. After all these years, I have a pretty good grip on that.
Because there are other things that happen in a business that aren't specifically tuned to projects. We have to take care of all our board of directors work. But one of the things that I never anticipated in school was that, okay, if you get into this field, and you should by chance be so fortunate as to become an owner, okay, it's dealing with people. It's dealing with your staff and your employees. No amount of HR training can really help you deal with the changing opinions and the changing thoughts of your prospective employees.
Is there a lot of competition for jobs?
Every year it gets more and more challenging picking the right people. You try to hire in some new people every now and then to, bring along the next generation of designer, and it's a difficult task now, managing and training and picking just a selection of the right employee.
Architecture is very logical. Being able to organize things and put things so that you can retrieve them and use them, and then so that someone else can retrieve them and use them, is incredibly important in this job. Like I said, I have a project manager who is going to be interested in seeing what I'm doing. and the people downstairs have to understand what I'm doing. So I have to communicate those two directions. And then we have to be able to communicate with an owner to make sure we've given them what they want, and a contractor so that the contractor can build what they want. So there's a lot of communication back and forth and a lot of understandings that have to be developed. And that's kind of what's neat about it.
If this career sounds like it might be for you, take the time to do some more research. Your efforts will pay off in a career to last a lifetime.